Explicit meaning basically means what is obvious from a text you read. Implicit means the opposite. It's about the underlying meaning, which is less obvious at first glance. An iceberg is a perfect example of this. It has a section above sea level, which is exposed and clear in front of you. However, it has a less obvious area below the surface of the water. If you're not careful, you could completely forget that this part is there and miss it. There's often more below the surface of the water than there is above, which is what people can forget. It's the same for the text you're reading. There might be things that jump straight out at you, but other bits that perhaps you don't spot. Let's explain this in more detail.
In the exam, you'll be asked to pick out things that may seem obvious to you. These are the really explicit or literal things. For example, you may be asked to find the name of a person in the extract, or a place where something is set. This will simply be a case of you skimming and scanning the text to find out these details, and you can do it pretty quickly. They're obvious or explicit. It's the implicit side of things that can be a little trickier.
So, why is implicit meaning more difficult? Well, because often it isn't all that obvious. It might take a couple of readings before you actually know what the text is meaning implicitly. It might be that you're asked to work out how someone is feeling in the text, or to consider the effect of the language used in a certain section. These are things that won't just jump straight out at you. They need more careful consideration and time to ponder. Therefore, the questions that ask you to identify areas implicitly can be a little more complicated and will require you to spend more time on them. They are often worth more marks, as they are not quite as straightforward as the explicit questions.
So, when reading a text, there are two levels of meaning to consider. What's above the water and staring you in the face, therefore enabling you to answer quite basic questions quickly. These will tend to be the questions worth 1 or 2 marks. They're easy marks. Then, think about what is implied from the information you have read. What can you figure out from the text and presume about an effect, setting or character? These questions will often be worth more marks and will require you to think and explore ideas. You can't scan the page for the obvious answer. You need to use the information that was given to you explicitly and take it from there.